Okay, so now I think we shall start. So, hello everyone, I'm Gaurav. So your host for today's webinar, no code workflow automation tool for M365 by Titan Workspace. Right. So in today's webinar, we are going to cover that how easy it can be for the enterprises to automate their business processes. And you won't believe that just within 30 minutes of the time. Right. So I would also like to introduce my co-host Kalpana Verma. So Kalpana is the head of product team, and today she will take us through some live examples that how you can configure your business processes. And you will be astonished to see when she will demonstrate a live example, and she will make live one of the business process, and within less than 10 minutes, you will see. Right. So say no to paper-based processes. So that is one of the challenge which we face in today's enterprises, right? So paper-based processes and we avoid that because that may require a lot of cost, that may require a lot of time. So we don't automate those, right? So we have now come up with a solution. So that's a low code, no code workflow automation tool from Titan Workspace. So now you can see the business processes, they can be related to any of the functions or any of the domains within any of the organization. It may be related to IT, HR, sales, marketing, right? So you can supercharge your business with process automation using this tool. So you will see that how is even if it's that very complex process that you have to automate, you will be able to do that within 30 minutes of your time and without investing lot of money, right? So your users will go live within the same day itself if you want, right? With all these processes. So strictly say no to all the paper-based processes from now onwards, right? So you can see these are some of the examples. So these processes can be related to your finance, can be related to IT, can be related to HR. So any of the business function, right? So like suppose there is a process by admin team for a vendor onboarding, right? So you know how difficult it is that they have to get all the approvals, they have to fill up all that information, right? So we have made it that easy that you can make these kind of a processes live within 30 minutes of your time. Any process, whether that may relate to HR, like leave request, that may be a budget approval process, expense approval, credit approval, purchase order, any finance related process. So you can automate all the processes very easily. So now you must be thinking that there are some of the traditional ways as well, which we are using to automate those processes, right? So I will very quickly tell you that why we thought that, okay, it's a need of the hour that we have to come up with such a solution so that it shall be very easy for the enterprises to automate their processes. So one of the very good tool introduced by Microsoft, because Microsoft also understand that's one of the pain area which enterprises face, right? So they have come up with the approval app, but you know, approval app, it's a very basic level of app and only for the small organization, right? So if you just want a one-step approval flow or maximum a two-step approval flow, you may be able to achieve that using the approval app. But if you need any complex form or any complex approval flow or three-step approval flow, it is very difficult to achieve that using the approval, right? So it doesn't basically fulfill the complete workflow automation cycle, right? Then the second method that may be coming to your mind is a custom coding, and that organizations generally spend millions of dollars just to automate their business processes using SharePoint, right? Microsoft, that was one of the core motive of the Microsoft to introduce SharePoint, right? So that it shall be very easy for the organizations to automate their business process and to build many of the applications on top of that. But the challenge there is you have to spend lot of money if you want to achieve that particular process automation or if you want to achieve that particular flow, right? So then the third thing that may be coming to your mind is Power App and Power Automate, right? So that's a very great tool introduced by Microsoft. So using that's a very powerful engine, but it also has some issues. Issues, when I say, those are not the issues, but basically you need lot of custom programming to automate your business processes, right? Without custom programming, it is not very easy to automate the complex workflows or dynamic workflows, I will say. Either you need that expertise, you have to spend again lot of amount and lot of effort is required, lot of time is required just to automate those business processes. So then there are the tools, some third-party tools in the markets. One of the most famous tool, that is a Nintex. You can use that as well, but again, if you want to automate the workflows using Nintex, you again need that expertise, right? So you may either need to hire an Nintex developer, or you may have to learn those skills by yourself, right? And again, it is not easy and cost-effective solution. You have to spend lot of amount there. Uh, 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 Nowadays, everything is based out of cloud. One of the things you will note within Nintex is you have to host your business processes within the Nintex cloud. You basically have to host all your information outside your Office 365 tenant, right? So now we would love to introduce the Titan workflow tool, which is the fastest and most cost-effective way to build and launch your workflows. So believe me, you can save 80 to 90% of your cost. It's a no-code, low-code workflow automation tool that we have provided. And the underlying technology that we have used is the complete Microsoft technology stack. And it is completely compatible with Microsoft Teams, Office 365, SharePoint, right? So all the process, it will be hosted within your Office 365 tenant itself using the Titan workflow tool that we have, right? Okay, so now I would like to invite my co-host Kalpana to take over from here and can show us some actual live demos of how you can easily achieve this particular thing.
Well, thank you, Gaurav. So I'll be sharing my screen now. So hello, everyone. Following the introduction which has been given by my colleague Gaurav, I will be giving a demonstration of this workflow automation tool. Now, I will be highlighting some of the key features of this tool, like how fast we can build the dynamic, like the flows, as well as assign some role-based access, controlled access to various steps of the flows. We can create dynamic forms. We can place the fields within that form dynamically, as well as just pick and choose the validations and apply the validations without a need of any technical skills there. And the forms which comes out after using this tool, that form is completely responsive both for desktop as well as mobile. Then it gives a feature of free e-sign as well as PDF generation. And then there is an integrated dashboard, which is available for all the processes. So if there are multiple requests coming from various processes, that can be seen on a single screen. Moreover, some users who are like having M365 business plan, they don't have to go and buy the Power App licenses when they're using this particular tool. So the demo which I'm going to give you, it's going to be in 3 steps. The first step is going to be showing you the overview. I'll be just running an existing process. In the second step, I'll show you the ease and speed with which we can create the workflow, right? And finally, I'll be showing you how complex a process can be when we use this tool to create. So coming to the first step here, I'll be picking up one of the processes and running them. Before that, I'll just give you an overview of how the tool looks. Now, this is the dashboard which we have here. This has two tabs. It has an inbox where I can see all the requests which have come to me for my action. There is outbox tab here. This outbox has all those requests which have been initiated by me. So now if I were to raise a request as an employee of an organization, I was to, let's say, raise a new request, I can just click on new request here. It'll give me the list of all the processes which are available within the organization for which I can raise a request. So I'm just going to choose this one here, employee exit process. Let's understand what this process is all about. Let's say there's an employee who is under the notice period and is about to get relieved in another couple of days. So he has to take, let's say, the clearance from multiple departments. Okay, so this particular process will have 3 levels of approval. In my case, it's IT, then from HR, and then from the finance, the approval has to be taken. There are multiple, there are a set of the actions which every stakeholder can take. I'll show you that as well. Any number of attachments can be attached at any step. And there are certain validations which are there on the form. So the initiator name or the reporting manager name, they are automatically getting picked up. There are a couple of dates, the date of relieving and a meeting date with the HR. They can only accept the future dates and the current date, not the past dates. And some fields have been marked as mandatory, and we'll see the mandatory check as well. So I'll pick this particular process and raise a new request. Once I do that, it's going to bring up a form for me to fill. So I'll just provide all the details here. Some of the fields we can see date of relieving is mandatory. So I can just provide, let's say, the designation, the department. I can choose from the list. My manager's name is also coming auto-populated here. I can provide the location. The date of relieving, as I said, it's just going to be current date or the future date, and none of the previous dates can be selected. So by default, the current date has been chosen. So I'll just keep it as is. And the list of assets which have been issued by me, I'll just say, let's say, laptop and iPhone. There are other sections also for which I do not have an access. So I'll just complete this form and I'll submit it. So once I submit, it travels through the different steps. So first it goes to the IT department for the approval. Now I have added my name in at each step. So I can see this coming to the IT department here, since I was a part of that department as well. For the sake of demo, I had put my name everywhere. So the IT department person can simply go and click on action. This will open this form and only the relevant fields will be available for the person of the IT department to modify. So rest of the form is going to be disabled. So these are the 2 fields which are available for the IT personnel. I'll just say all the assets returned yes. Optional comments. I can put some comments here. And rest of the sections are also there, but they are for the other stakeholders. So I do not have access to them. And there are these different actions which I can take. So let's understand these actions here. Approve. Once I approve, it goes to the next level of approver. When I do reject, the flow stops here. I can forward it. There are 3 flavors for forward. Let's say I want to add one more stakeholder to an existing step. Currently, there are 2 stakeholders. I can add one more stakeholder. I want to add one more step after my current step, a new step. I can create a new step. I want to take some views of some other stakeholders. I can do that as well. Maybe I can do it silently, secretly. I don't want others to view, or I can just make it open. So for now, I'm not going to forward it, and I'll show you this revert. Revert is again, if I want to just revert it to any of the previous steps. Maybe I want to take it back to this initiator or any of the previous approvers. So it'll show me the list of all the previous steps which have happened, and I can just choose from any of the previous steps. So for now, I'm just going to approve it so that it goes to the next step here. I click on approve. Optional remarks and approve. Once I approve, it goes to the next step to the HR. Now it starts showing up on the dashboard of the HR also. So my name was there in the HR step also, so I can see it here, the approval by the HR department. So in the same fashion, in the interest of time, I'll not run through all the steps. So it comes to HR department. After the approval from HR, it goes to the final step of the finance department approval. Now I will just show you how it looks once all the steps have happened. So let's pick up one of the approved request. So let's say I pick up this one. Right. So this is how the final form looks with all the approvals, with all the signatures, wherever it asks for the signatures. And I can actually generate a PDF out of it. So I can just decide what all I want on the PDF, maybe logo, yes, no. The company's name should be there, yes, no. I want to append the history at the end. I can do that as well. I can choose from the location, list of locations of my office. And I can even remove some of the items from the address. And some custom text if I want to have, like under this address, I can do that as well. Let's say, and I submit. So once I submit, it's going to download the PDF for me. Let's see how the PDF looks. So this is how the final PDF looks. And since I opted for the history at the end, it shows the history also of all the steps that have happened. So this was a simple step which we saw, I mean, a simple workflow which I ran through, just to give an overview of how the tool works. So now, as the next step,
many of your doubts may have been clear till now because you have seen how actually this particular tool works. Still, there may be some of the queries which you have in mind, right? So you can just write down those queries within the chat box, and we will take over all the queries during the Q&A session. In the meanwhile, I will just take you through a couple of more slides, right? So that will again clear some of more doubt of yours. So now I hope you are very much clear that how we are competing with the Power Apps, because that is one of the biggest competition that we have, right? So we are the underlying technology, as I told you, we are also using SharePoint, Power Automate, and Microsoft Stack only. So now you know that to create a dynamic form and flows within Power Apps, you know that require coding, but within Titan, no coding is required. Just you have to configure that, and it is very easy that you can even do that within 30 minutes of your time. You can apply validation on forms for Power Apps. Again, a coding required, and that expertise is required. Time is also required. In Titan, no coding is required at all. Right. Power App doesn't provide you a responsive design for desktop, but Titan workflow provide you a complete responsive design. Either you want to open your particular flow within desktop or mobile or iPad or any of the tab, right? Then role-based access and workflow rules, so that Power Apps also provide, but again, some level of a coding is required there. No coding is required for Titan. For small and medium organizations, you know that M365 business line of SQ that doesn't cover Power App licenses. So additional licenses are required. With Titan, there is no additional licenses required at all. So we are saving a lot of your cost from there as well. We are providing a free e-sign integration with Adobe that we have done there. PDF generation you can do. That is available. And you can also integrate dashboard for all your processes. So that's a single integrated dashboard that you will get. For Power Apps, you know, that need all the processes to be developed within the same application. But that is available in Titan, that all your processes, you will be able to have a holistic view within one integrated dashboard. Right. So Titan workflow tool, it is offered as a service. So basically we are offering it as a per process per annum basis, irrespective of the number of the users that you may have. So you may have 100 users or you may have 1,000 users, doesn't matter. So you just have to pay us on a per process per annum basis. Now you know no SharePoint skills are required. Any person who even is not a technical person can very easily configure his own workflows there. No designer skills required, no overhead for change requests. So whenever you want us to make any change within your flow, that you can do by your own, or you can just request us and we will get it done on your behalf. No big budgets are needed. So we have a pricing for separate pricing for the locations and geographies. So depending upon that, we have set up our pricing, but that is you can say compared to other the traditional methods, you are automating your workflows. We are just charging you peanuts, nothing else. So we can share the pricing after this call on a one-to-one basis whenever you want us to take you through uh, 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 the complete flow again, or you want us to automate any of your flow, or in case you want to resell this particular product to your clients or within your geography, that is most welcome. We can discuss about that pricing separately, right? So how we are very flexible in terms of pricing. So uh, how we generally share the margins with our partners, and even for the end clients, our pricing, you will see that we provide very competitive pricing, right? So there is zero risk involved. So you just have to pay us once your business process will go live. If your business process is not going live, don't need to pay us anything. We will not even take a single penny from you, right? So it will be deployed within your Office 365 tenants. So there is no risk again. All the content, all the workflow processes will be within your tenant itself. Even as a vendor, if you will not allow us to access your tenant, we won't be able to. So that particular per process per annum price that covers support and changes as well. Whenever you want, you can just let us know. So our support is will be available within your business working hours. So whenever you want, you just have to reach out to us, and we will provide you a complete support or any change request that you may require. Right. So other than workflow automation tool, Titan Workspace, it's a complete digital workplace that we are offering within SharePoint and Office 365 and within Microsoft Teams. So we have a complete solution for enterprises. We have a document management system. We have a project and task management system, a simplified project and task management system, I will say. Then we have a complete collaboration suite and content management system so that your internal users, not just the internal, but external users can also collaborate. Right. So we are providing a complete suite of the applications within a single Titan workplace. So I know there are many queries that may be coming to your mind, so we can now discuss on the queries. So I would request Kalpana, Michael to be on the call so that we can answer all the queries. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gaurav. Thank you, Kalpana, for your wonderful presentation as well. So, yeah, my name is Michael, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this, the webinar today. So I can see there are lots of questions, and I would have to thank Ashish for answering them, right? So if you have any further questions, you are feel free to drop them in the chat box as well. So I can see there are lots which Ashish have already answered. So yeah, I'm looking forward to new queries now.
So I can see one of the questions which I believe has not been answered yet that talks about integration with the backend ERP. Yes, we can do that case by case. We can actually do that integration provided we are given all the APIs, So yes, that can be discussed separately, case by case. That's possible.
So is there any more questions?
Let me add here from my end. So we are helping the organizations to get the higher ROI out of their Office 365 investments, right? So even in case you are selling M365 in your particular geography, or you are using M365, you are paying a hefty amount to Microsoft, but still you are not satisfied that you are getting that particular ROI. So we can help you with that. So what we are doing, we are just simplifying the Office 365, right? So now there are, I think, couple of queries, Michael.
Yes. Yeah. So Raj Kumar is asking if we can integrate this with SAP as well, SAP tools.
The same answer. Again,
Okay.
we can do it case by case. We have to do that customization for that particular
So that
situation.
is feasible. So
Yeah.
we can do that. So that is completely feasible. That totally depends what you want us to achieve with that particular integration.
Okay.
And we are absolutely fine to do that.
All right. Thank you,
As
Gaurav and
far
Kalpana.
the
Mhm.
Okay, as far the API goes, I can see Mr. Mohammed Abu Zaid has asked this question. Yes, APIs will be required from your side, of course, to integrate. And yes, coding would be needed, not by you, but yes, we'll have to do that level of customization to integrate. And yes, it can be a two-way integration also, but then again, we have to have two-way APIs available for that.
All right. And also we have another one from Bikram as well. He is asking, can we create dashboard for each flow separately as well? Like for HR flow, we'll have a separate dashboard to see the progress.
Actually, we are coming up in our future roadmap. It is there. We are going to have department-wise processes also. So that is there already in plan.
Okay,
Um,
thank you, Kalpana.
I actually
And
have a question, Michael.
okay,
Yes,
Yeah,
please go ahead.
yeah, it's again related to SAP. So you mentioned that it depends on what's the purpose of integrating, right? So the purpose here is, you see, all the PO numbers and all, once you receive from the vendor, is registered in SAP. Okay, so that is one. So how can it be done in a way that when my store people register this in the SAP, the PO number and the invoice, can it be then integrated with 365 so my boss would receive that notification? Do you get me?
Okay, so you have the POs lying within the SAP system, within your system, right?
Yes.
So we'll have to have a mechanism by which we can at least pull that PO number and the PO details from your SAP system for which we would be needing APIs. And then the complete flow of approval and everything would run through our tool.
So it can be done, right?
It can be done, yes. So we'll have to have that level of discussions happening just to understand the complete flow and the requirements. And then, yes, it's pretty much possible.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Okay, but just one last thing. So the thing why I'm actually asking that is because, again, when you talk about purchasing order and all, right, in most of the companies, it is within the SAP itself. Okay, so which is why it's very important that whatever that we receive through SAP can be notified via 365. That would be great, actually. Yeah, thank
Understood.
you.
thank you, Raj. Thank you. I guess we have another one. So is it a two-way of integration?
Yeah, I actually just answered that. So we would be needing those APIs for two-way integration.
All right. I think Ahmad wants to ask something. Ahmad, please feel free to.
I just want to ask for the validation. Is it possible to make it like a conditional validation? Let's say for the mobile number, if you choose a country, I can manipulate with the format based on the other selection.
Yes, that's something which is building up. We have that in our roadmap. So conditional validation is going to happen. For example, if you have a drop down for country, you choose a country, it populates all the regions or the states for the selected country. That is something which is there already in the plan.
All right. So we have another question from Ashu. Ashu, please.
Yes, hi. So regarding SAP integration, I understand that it will be using APIs, but it will be just communicating with SAP, right? Through APIs. It will not we will not be involved with SAP licensing issue, right? I mean, we don't need to get additional SAP BI licenses for that, right?
Okay, see, actually, why I said APIs was that we need to pull some information from SAP, which will be needed by our tool.
I
So
understand.
for
We
that
are
purpose,
already
yeah.
doing that
Mhm.
for some other things. So we are using couple of inbuilt in-house APIs, and we are pulling data from SAP, but we are
Mhm.
never posting data back to SAP. So that's why I wanted to understand that we will not be required any additional SAP licenses to deal with. Only our internal APIs can function, and then your tool will do the rest of the job, right?
I
Okay.
guess Ashish have answered that couple. Go
Yeah,
ahead, sir.
I read
So
it
no
in the
SAP
chat.
additional licenses will be required
Right.
actually from your end.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Okay. So we have another one from Vikas again. For integration, will you be using Power Automate or connectors or custom coded API consumption by your tool? Integration.
No, we would be needing custom coded APIs.
So yeah, so basically we will be using our own custom coded API that we will build. So we don't need Power Automate connectors. Maybe for some of the services we may need Power Automate connectors. So again, that depends on a case to case basis.
Right. So actually the third party with which we're integrating, for that, we would be needing the APIs for that third party. And we may or may not be using Power Automate connectors
Yes.
for implementing it. Yeah.
So we have another one from Sharvana. She's asking, can the flows be templatized and can existing BPN MN diagram can be converted to forms?
Templatized, yes. We can have the templates created and reused. And as far as converting the diagrams into forms goes, that is not there as of now. But then, yes, we can have more elaborate discussion on like what exactly would you want. So then probably we can, find out a way of doing this. But as of now, we do not have that. But yes, we can have a discussion on this separately.
Okay. So we have another one from Sumit. He's asking how product different from other products in this domain of low code and no code, API out systems, etc. He's asking, if our product is any different from our low code solution, other low code solution.
Yes, so see that will be a long answer if we have to answer here, right? So we do have the comparison chart. So if required, you can just reach out to us and we will share with you those comparison chart. Those will answer your queries that what are our USPs and how we are different to any particular product that you are currently evaluating. So I think there are some hand raised by some guests. Okay. So Vikram, please unmute yourself and you can ask your query.
Hi, thanks for the wonderful presentation. We got really good insights and the product is very nice. Let me appreciate that. Second thing is when we talk about SAP integration, SAP itself is having a full-fledged workflow which talks about the PO release strategy, which is inbuilt in SAP. So how do we utilize this piece of software, piece of application within SAP and how it is going to benefit us? When something is already inbuilt and embedded as a part of the standard workflow, where you have all the checks and balances, like based on a purchase or credit limit also, sorry, not credit limit, the PO ordering limit, that is already checked. So does your system has got a check for that? Like, for example, one manager is allowed to release a PO of, let's say, $500,000. Okay. If he crosses that, will there be a stop or not?
Okay, so you, I believe, are talking about conditional approvals, right? So depending upon a particular amount, it may go to 3 levels, or if the amount increases, the one more level may get added, something of that sort, right?
Correct.
All right, so we have that particular thing again in our roadmap. We are going to come up with that feature as well. And
Okay.
as far as your other question goes regarding your like all the provision which is there already in SAP, see, the idea is not to compete with SAP actually. So we have the power of this particular tool is that anybody who doesn't have any third party tool purchased already can actually create the workflows in very less time without any technical skills needed. Right. So, and yes, if you already are using any third party tool, that integration is also possible so that some of the work you're doing in that third party tool, as well as you have some values pulled into this particular workflow automation tool, and then you can have the approval going on in this particular tool.
Okay, thank you. Answers my question. Thank you very much.
All right, then I guess if you have any other queries, feel free to reach out to us, or drop an email to Gaurav or myself, and then we'll be able to assist you even with more details on about our pricing, about our products, and much more. So yeah, feel free to do that. For Southeast Asian and Asia Pacific market, you can definitely reach out to me. And for other markets, please feel free to reach out to Gaurav. Thanks again, Gaurav. I hand the meeting over to you again.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thanks
everyone, for your
everyone. Thank you.
participation.
Thanks for attending the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much.